Had you even tried to do a deal with Nigel for 93?
We had done a deal and shaken hands. We'd made an offer. Nigel himself said, I want to sort out my 93, 94. Frank had sent the motorhome up to Silverstone for a test. We went into the meeting room at the back of the motorhome and we did a deal with Nigel, agreed on the money. The contract was drawn up and sent to Nigel, who at that time lived in the Isle of Man. The problem was that Nigel went on and won the next race and the next race afterwards and the race afterwards and the race afterwards. And a few people got into his ear and said, Nigel, you are worth more than you have contracted with Williams for 1993. Anyway, whatever it was, they bent his ear. And Frank and I were pretty unhappy because we felt that we'd done a deal with Nigel. We'd all shaken hands and that deal should have gone ahead. Nigel felt he wanted more money. A meeting took place, and by that time, Nigel had some advisors who we felt were not operating in his best interest. Anyway, whatever it was, it didn't happen. And so we didn't have a driver for 93. So we had Riccardo Patrese, who was a very fine driver, didn't really get on as well with the active ride car. He was a very, very fine driver of the passive car in 91. And Damon had been testing and doing fully competitive times, very disciplined, very fit, very capable. And a number of people in our team said to Frank, you should consider Damon. Frank was always very influenced by star names in drivers and didn't really think. I mean, obviously, Damon was a star name because of his father, but he wasn't a star name because of Damon. It's a completely different story, but when Damon's father was sadly killed, I think the family money pretty much all went to dealing with the consequences of the aircraft accident. And Damon was running around London on a scooter delivering pizzas and things. He had a very, very difficult entry into Formula One. I think it took some time for Frank to accept that Damon was quite the driver that he turned out to be. But eventually he did, when he could see what Damon was doing, and when people who had persuaded me that Damon was up to it, like Paddy Lowe and Simon Wells, we all ganged up on Frank, and Frank said, oh, well, okay. And on we went.